With the NBA playoffs finally here, I'm going to be doing by popular demand a NBA playoff bracket. In this video, I'm going to be going over every matchup and just saying who I think is going to win and giving my reason why. Some series are very easily said, so I won't necessarily have to give the biggest explanation on why I think said team will win the series, but I do want to get into this, so let's just hop into the video. Oh, and today's video is brought to you by Manscaped.com. We're going to talk about them later on in the video. First, we start in Phoenix, where the Phoenix Suns are going to be taking on the New Orleans Pelicans, and first of all, congratulations to the Pelicans for actually making the playoffs this year. Now, the Pelicans are a good team. I like them, honestly. However, Phoenix is a way better team than them, and there's not even a debate about it. Now, I don't think Phoenix is going to sweep them. I have the Suns in 5, but still, I just don't see a situation where the Pelicans actually win the series. From Phoenix, we go over to the Utah and Dallas series. Now, this is a series I've been thinking about for a while. At the time of recording this, it looks like Utah is going to end up winning this game versus Dallas, so Utah is going to go up 1-0. Now, with Luka Doncic missing time, obviously that comes into a factor, but I'm sorry. Despite the Utah Jazz being a fraudulent team, despite the Utah Jazz not being that good of a team, and them choking every single game away like Riley Reid, I'm gonna take them in 6. However, you Jazz fans are not gonna like what I have to say about the next round. Denver and the Warriors has been a series that people have been talking about, saying that Denver could take the series. I really don't see it. I think Golden State is just a better team overall. I think Denver might scare them and they might actually take a game or two, but I'm sorry, Golden State in 5. Memphis versus Minnesota, the two teams that are very young and talented. However, I just honestly cannot see a situation where the Grizzlies lose in the first round. Now, I do think the Timberwolves, however, are going to actually steal a couple games and scare everyone and have everyone saying, oh my god, the Grizzlies are frauds. People will try to blame Ja Morant and say, oh, with Ja Morant playing, the Grizzlies are not as good. Therefore, Ja Morant will play like an absolute sicko and end up taking the series in either 6 or 7. Those are my predictions for the Western Conference. Now let's move over to the East, where things get a little bit interesting. Miami and Atlanta is a cool story for Atlanta because obviously they just made the playoffs. However, Miami is a better team, and I'm sorry, but you can't convince me that the Hawks are gonna beat them. I don't care if they're technically the 8th seed. They came into this as a 9 seed, so that's the way I'm gonna perspect them throughout the whole playoffs. The only thing stopping the Miami Heat from winning the series is the crowd chanting fuck Trae Young, because if you do that, that's not gonna end well for any party. We've seen that with the New York Knicks, we've seen that with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and no other team has tried it, so hopefully Miami isn't the next to do it. The Heat, in my eyes, are a fraudulent team. I don't think they're a true number 1 seed, so I'm not gonna say that they're gonna lose in the first round, because some people actually think this is gonna happen. But unless Miami starts chanting fuck Trae Young, I got the Heat in 5. Toronto and Philly is my favorite matchup so far in the Eastern Conference. I think this is gonna be a very interesting series to say the least. However, I think it's also gonna be very eye-opening. I think we're honestly gonna see why James Harden is known as a playoff choker, why Joel Embiid is also a playoff choker, why Doc Rivers should not even be an NBA coach anymore. I've been hyping up Toronto all year. I think they're a good team. I think they have the opportunity to go deep in the playoffs. So with that being said, I'm taking Toronto in 6. I'm going to be very short about this Milwaukee and Chicago series, but the Bucks are going to sweep the Chicago Bulls. Giannis is going to go crazy. The Bulls just don't have what it takes to even win a game in the playoffs this year. I feel like they just haven't been at all themselves for, I guess, the last couple months of the season. No disrespect to Chicago, but seriously, you guys got to figure some stuff out, because the Bucks, like I said, are going to win in a sweep. Boston and Brooklyn is a series that actually reminds me of last year with the Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Lakers, because the Lakers were favorites first of all at the beginning of the playoffs, just like the Nets are somewhat favorites this year. Also, when you look at the seeding, the Suns were the 2 seed last year and the Lakers were the 7 seed, and if we look at this situation, Boston, who is definitely the better team, is the 2 seed and Brooklyn is a 7 seed. There is a reason why Los Angeles was a 7 seed last year, and there is a reason why Boston is a 2 seed and Brooklyn is a 7. Seeding does not guarantee a win, because if that was the case, then this video would be over and I would have just gone with the higher seed, but as you can tell, I haven't done that. We're not just going to ignore Boston and the fact that they've played very well this season, so I'm going with Boston in 6. That was the first round of the playoffs. Now we move on to the second round, where things get a little bit interesting. Once again, I'm going to start in the West. This series should not even be a debate. I mean, first of all, you have Phoenix, who's been the best team this season all year long. Utah is a team that is talented, don't get me wrong. However, they have their flaws, and like I mentioned earlier, they have a tendency to choke. Now, you might be saying, oh, Suns in 6 or Suns in 7, but I'm sorry, and this is gonna piss off a lot of people. I have the Suns sweeping the Jazz. Not only do I have the Suns sweeping the Jazz, but I think this series alone will be the reason why the Jazz break up. Utah is no longer gonna have Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell together, at least. I'm not sure which one will leave first. It's either gonna be Rudy or Donovan. I could really see it being Gobert. However, I think this is gonna be the series that makes that happen, especially if it's a sweep. Now, Now, if they win or 6 or 7, it's like, oh, you know, at least the Utah Jazz put up a good fight, even though we all know that Phoenix is going to win this. The Warriors and the Grizzlies, two teams that are very talented. However, Memphis is the clear favorite in this one, and I gotta be honest, I've liked Memphis this entire season. I see some similarities when it comes to the Grizzlies and the Suns, and I like both of these teams, and honestly, I could see them fighting in the Western Conference to see who is going to make the NBA Finals. The Warriors are a good team, but I think Memphis has more fight in them, and I honestly think that they overall are going to show up to the event when the Warriors, I just don't see them playing that well like they should. So for me, I'm going to take the Memphis Grizzlies in 6. Moving on to the East, we have the Raptors and we have the Heat. Miami is a fraudulent team that I don't think is going to be able to stick with the Toronto Raptors, who's a little bit of an underrated team, and I've been saying this for the entire year. I think this will also give a lot of perspective on how Miami is a fraudulent team if there's some way that a Raptors team can win, so I'm gonna take the Raptors in 7. Milwaukee and Boston is going to be a very good series, and there's no doubt in my mind that these two teams are really gonna go at it, and it's just gonna be overall a very good matchup to watch. I think a lot of people have the perspective that the winner of this is gonna make the NBA Finals representing the Eastern Conference, and I'm kind of on agreement on that actually, and I'm gonna take Boston in 6. Milwaukee's a good team, however, I think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and I'm hoping Robert Williams will be back by then. Also, I think Boston's new head coach is just better than Mike Budenholzer, so like I said, Boston in 6. And then there were 4. This is the conference finals. I got Suns vs Grizzlies, and I have Raptors vs Celtics. I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of lazy, so we're just gonna talk about the Celtics series first since I already have the footage up, which is just kind of fitting because I have Boston winning this series in 5 because I think Boston is a better team than Toronto overall, and I'm not gonna lie, I think they're gonna really show why they're gonna make the NBA Finals this year. They're not gonna take any chances. They're not messing around. They're going to do everything in their power to win this series and just end everything. I've been very high on Boston this year. I've talked so much good stuff about them, and that's all I have to say is just good stuff. A lot of you may or may not know this, but Boston has been my pick to make the NBA Finals out of the East for a very long time. Some may want to see a Suns vs Bucks rematch, but I'm sorry, that's not gonna happen this year. Boston in 5. The defending Western Conference champions and the Phoenix Suns have a lot to prove this year, and they need to win this series to make the NBA Finals. I think they're a better team than Memphis, and I think they're gonna win this series. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Memphis is going to scare Phoenix though. They're gonna win a game or 2. However, I have the Suns in 6. So with all that being said, my NBA Finals matchup is going to be the Phoenix Suns versus the Boston Celtics. But before I get into that, we gotta talk about today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by Manscaped.com, the #1 brand for men's grooming and hygiene products. Now, for those of you that did not know, April is National Bald Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. Did you guys know that 1 man every hour every day is diagnosed with testicular cancer? In fact, testicular cancer is actually the most common form of cancer amongst men ages 15 and 35. And according to my YouTube demographic, that is the majority of you guys that watch my videos. The reason why I'm talking about this is because Manscaped is partnering with the Testicular Cancer Society to help those who are impacted by testicular cancer. During this month only, Manscaped is doing a special edition TCS Lawnmower 4.0. It's the same Lawnmower 4.0, however, number 1, it has a different type of packaging for testicular cancer, which by the way, there's only 10,000 of these being made, and it's special edition, so after they're gone, they're gone. They're also going to be donating $50,000 to the Testicular Cancer Society. Now, if you guys do want to make a donation to this, go to testicularcancersociety.org, and I'll put it in the link in the description below as well. By the way, if one of you guys show me that you donated, please send it to me so I can give you a personal thank you for supporting this cause. As always, if you want to discount your products, make sure you use code Spex for 20% off, and thank you so much to Manscaped for sponsoring this video, and guys, shave to save. The Phoenix Suns versus the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. Who do I have winning this series? And guys, most of you probably know my answer. I've said it the entire season. Boston has a good team, they have good talent, and they're definitely going to prove why they've had a good season and why this is a team for the future. But for now, this season is going to end with the Phoenix Suns winning the 2022 NBA Finals. The Suns will win in 6, and Elfrid Payton will win Finals MVP. Now, I'm just joking, it's going to go to Devin Booker, but seriously, I see the Suns taking the whole thing. They've had an amazing season, so it's only right that they end off as the champions of this year. I mean, it's only fitting for the season that they've had.